was appointed. I did all kinds of things. This was always kind of like night work or something. I was asked to build a climate model that could be run in the White House, and I did that. It just seems a strange question. Why would you want to run something a model in the White House when you could easily, ask somebody to carry out calculations for you? But anyway, I did it. It's just amazing with all of the work the White House has to do that they'd be running a climate model. And then President Clinton appointed me to the National Science Board, which is the governing board of the National Science Foundation. I served on that, and just before he left office, he reappointed me for another 6 years, and I became the chair of the National Science Board. So I had responsibility not only for the atmospheric and ocean sciences, but all of science, including mathematics, physics, chemistry, and we had to approve the building of telescopes, of ships, to approving budgets and so forth. So it was an interesting experience. And then President Obama, when he was a senator, asked me to be on a panel with him, and I agreed to be on the panel. I was able to kind of have some input into the President's science policies, at various levels, and I still do that now on the committee that I chair. In fact, I spoke last week with the President's science advisor at a meeting in Philadelphia. So all of this is really nice experiences that I've had, and I think Mary, my wife here, has traveled with me to numerous meetings and places to have some good experiences learning about how the political life really works in this world. So anyway, I'll be happy to answer questions at the end. I'm not quite through here. I want to just introduce this picture. And this picture is of a young child with the face written on it. And what this is, and the reason I picked this picture out, was it really represents people who are going to be affected by severe climate change. This is the next generation, and there will be generations to follow. And I think that climate models have and continue to contribute to understanding and predicting the climate system. They allow the science community to determine objectively the possible impacts of climate change on food production, flooding, drought, sea level rise, and health, as well as decision support. And higher resolution and more complete models will help. Now, in order to get to this stage, we're still trying to make our models better and better and better. And we know there are biases. We're constantly trying to eliminate those biases or make them smaller. You can only make them. You can only improve them up to a certain point, and that point is where you don't really understand or have observations of how something works. And we're increasingly getting more and more data from various sources so that we're able to lower those uncertainties that we have in our models and improve them by having better physics, better ways to solve the equations and more and higher resolution. This is me getting the National Medal of Science. This is what it looks like on both sides. That's the on the far right is the back side. So it actually came a year late. I got it in 2010, but you know, when the presidents change, it takes a while for them to get their staff up to speed to take care of a lot of administrative things. Advice for students: continue to develop your expertise. I think that's going to be key as you go on and look for a job or have a job and want to move to a better job or advance in the system that you're in. Contribute to a larger effort as well as just what you're involved in, and that means probably taking advantage of opportunities to help out scientific societies, because they're always looking for volunteers to help out with meetings and publications and so forth. So you should do some of that. You shouldn't get overwhelmed with it, though, because you want to keep your expertise up in whatever you're doing and stay on the cutting edge. And that means spending most of your time when you're young just working in your area is probably the best advice you can take. And continue to learn, because on the knowledge that we're getting, especially in our field, is such that as we get better instruments, better computers, and better understanding, you have an opportunity to kind of take all that and keep your learning process going, and which means that you probably should be spending some small fraction of your time going to scientific meetings and listening to talks and learning about what's new and how your science connects with other areas of science. And eventually, seek out leadership opportunities, but don't make yourself a pain. Some people like to brag about what they do all the time, and there's kind of a backlash against some people that are too aggressive and try to take advantage of the fairly open system that we have. Now, just some of the things that you've probably already known is who's causing CO2 to increase. These are just some from the number of studies. China is the biggest consumer of fossil fuels and the emitter of carbon dioxide. And I see that just even a few days ago, China admitted that these estimates are a little bit too low. And so actually, and the U.S. is number 2 in this list of big emitters. Here's Russia, India, Japan, Germany, and so forth. I'm going to go through all of these. Now, President Obama has worked with all of these countries in the top rank to get them to agree to make cuts in the emissions. It still isn't going to solve it, because they haven't agreed to huge cuts. I would say that they've agreed to modest size cuts. It's not going to be exactly where we hope to be, but at least he's got the process started. And on the worrying thing is that some of these countries, especially island states and so forth, really have very small contributions to the greenhouse effect. So now some of them want us to contribute to their budget or to help them mitigate and adapt to climate change. And we might find ways to sort of do that, but I'm not sure that that we should try to go after every molecule. But we should go after the big people first. Yeah, this essentially shows on the same thing. So we're in the big leagues right here in terms of carbon emissions. Can you find jobs after graduations? Several people always ask me, where can I find about jobs? There are many programs, and I won't go through those, where you can get funding. All of your advisors here know about these programs in the federal government. But also check out the scientific societies, because they tend to advertise positions that are and postdoctoral opportunities and so forth. And I've been involved in many of these in helping identify places where they can find out information. We still have fundamental problems on the transition from high school to college. Is that many students come in with backgrounds that make it difficult for them to get into the STEM fields. The major weaknesses in mathematics and science backgrounds. And so this is a problem that we are all aware of and that we need to kind of keep working on. Professions. Let me just list up here the public trust issue. Military is number one. This is from public polling. Medicine is number two. Science community is number three. Down here, lack of public trust is in the press, banks, Congress, television, organized labor, major companies, and the executive branch is in that area too, and organized religion. So you can see there's some problem areas here. But being in the science community, you're thought of as pretty good in comparison to some others. I won't comment more on this other than just point out that in the area of climate change, there is some backlash by parts of the political system against climate change research, and it should be the other way around. Climate change research is very vital to this nation and to the world, and it still needs to be adequately funded. I'll end there. Thank you very much. It's